Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Happy Thursday. Welcome to Run It Back. My name's Michelle. We got Lou, Will, and Chandler. Did your car run out of gas?
Oh, I wish.
That's a weird answer, but yeah, we'll go with that. Guys, Kenny Beecham will be on a little bit later. Maybe he'll be able to sort of spin whatever last night's games were into something because, wow, that was a rough night of basketball, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start in Chicago, where Miami just reminded the world that sometimes they still have the culture, and it is alive and well. I don't know if it's a playoff thing. I have no idea, but they dominated Chicago 109-90. They get to play the Hawks tomorrow to see who plays the Cavs. Tyler Hero had 38 points. Chandler, I'll start with you. I think a lot of people, including this entire show, had written off Miami, and then last night happens. What do you make of that?
Yeah, they look good. Tyler Hero was to himself, doing what he did all year long. He was dominant. They defended, giving up 90 points. I don't care to anybody. That's impressive, especially when the season is on the line. You go on the road and you get off to a hot start and you hold the home team to 90 points. That is very impressive, especially with Bam Adebayo playing not his best. So this was a great win for them. And again, I think we just got so caught up with all the distractions and the Jimmy Butler stuff that this team still has talent. They still have Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. They're going to be two of the best players on the floor, no matter who they play any given night. And listen, I don't know if playoff culture is a real thing or not, but they sure did look last night. They had no fear. They went in there, and they absolutely dominated them from the jump. I
mean, no Jimmy Butler. I think we thought, well, that was the playoff thing, right? But apparently not.
I'm not getting carried away. This still was a 9-10 game.
Fair enough.
He's
keeping it real.
Yeah, let's keep it real. Like this was a 9-10 game, but they did play well. Tyler Hero did play well. They had 30 assists as a team. That's the best thing that you can have as a coach when you have a team that can go out there and get 25 to 30 assists on field goals made and have your stars turn into stars in a game that means so much, and this is where the line gets drawn a lot of times. You see the teams that are inspired, that want to continue on their season, and then you see the teams that play the game simply because it's on the schedule in a play-in for a 9 and a 10 spot. And that's what Chicago showed last night. They were just there because it was on the schedule, and they wanted to continue on and go ahead on their vacation and get ready for the offseason. So I think we still got some cleaning up to do when it comes to the play-in. Like some of these games are terrible. But other than that, I felt like Miami played a good game.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to defend those two games last night for those of us who have to deal with anti-NBA people all the time. But it's also Chicago, you're at home, and I feel like that could have been a better effort. I know the votes are in for all the different awards, but, didn't really mention Tyler Hero a lot when we spoke of Most Improved. Lou, I don't know if that's just a simple case of Miami kind of got buried under the drama earlier in the season.
I think it was just so much confusion, a lot of things surrounding this basketball team that he got lost in the sauce. But again, for me, when you have an expectation from a player when he comes into the league, I don't think you even qualify for Most Improved Player. Now, that's my personal opinion. Now, after my opinion is done, I did do some research, and 7 of the last 9 Most Improved Players that's won the award are former lottery picks, just like Tyler Hero. So I thought I would have a point in that. I was wrong when I looked that up. But again, I think when you're a CADE Cunningham, when you're a Tyler Hero, when you come into the league with an expectation level, I don't see you as a most improved. I see you as turning into the player we always thought you were.
Yeah, you're doing what you're supposed to do, right, Chandler? I know you disagree, but
we did this last week, or I don't know. I disagree fully. I think it goes from a season to season basis. If CADE Cunningham wasn't that good last year and he turned into a second-team All-NBA this year and his team had crazy success, which they did, I have to put him in the running for Most Improved. That's how it's always been. That's probably how it always will be. Nothing that happened up until last season matters, whether if you're a first-round pick or #1 pick or if you're undrafted. It is based on year-to-year progress. So Tyler Hero, again, he's a guy that was really good last year. He's an all-star level guy. I don't think that should hurt him. I just think there's a lot of other guys that made a jump that were just as big as him. Like a Dyson Daniels type. He's a great example. He wasn't the highest pick, but now all of a sudden he's turning into this household name. He's a building block for the Hawks. He's in the mix for Defensive Player of the Year. That's a guy who, Lou Dort, the guy who he's got so much, so much more to improve this year on a winning basketball team, and his his role this year is such a monumental piece. So you could look at it a bunch of different ways, but Tyler Hero, to me, he's just a stud. He was a stud last year, though, so most improved really doesn't make sense.
But that's where Chandler and I disagree, right? Like if you're a number one pick, you're picked number one based on your potential.
Right.
So if you're getting better and better, that's what you were supposed to do. That's why you're the number one pick. If you're a lottery pick, you're picked in that area based on your potential of what you're going to be able to do. Like there's no surprise that these guys get better and better over time. That's why they're the highly touted draft picks to begin with. So that's where we disagree in this argument when it comes to most improved. Like the other guys that he named, they don't have the expectation level as a CADE Cunningham or even a Tyler Hero. They were really serviceable guys that went above and beyond what was expected of them based on potential.
It's almost like you should have an award that's most underwhelming for guys like that if they have a weird year. And then the following year, you're now eligible for most improved based off that. Because it is a little weird. You're supposed to be great. So when you are great, it shouldn't be shocking. I think you and I are right in the same boat. We really are.
Like, you know what, Michelle? I was watching this game last night, and there's a kid on Chicago, the kid Bucelis. I was in the dunk contest.
Yep.
Could have been a little underwhelming this year, but he was the 11th pick in the draft. He was a lottery pick. That's a very high pick.
Yeah.
If he jumps to like 17, 18 points a game next year, which I think he will, because I think he's that good, he's going to be in the conversation for most improved player, even though he was the 11th pick in the draft, and that's what's expected of him to do. I still think he's going to be in the conversation if his numbers and the Bulls get slightly better.
But you see what we're saying, right? Like if you're a genius and you get straight A's, you're supposed to get straight A's. Like,
I see it both ways. Yeah, I see it both ways.
I think there's a way to tweak this. First, we got to fix this game before we can start tweaking the awards because these were rough. But the Heat now will play Atlanta tomorrow in Atlanta. Winner of that gets to go and play the Cavs. We literally, Lou, jinxed both of these games last night, like completely and 100%. So
I don't think.
Go ahead. What are you seeing?
I'm not signing up for the jinx. I'm not inserting myself in these games. We made predictions.
Thoroughly.
It didn't happen. I don't feel like I jinxed
If it matters,
anybody.
the Hawks are favored by 1, and the season series was tied. Does it matter?
Well, they just got to have a different effort than they had the last time. And it's on their home floor. I'm sure you'll see an inspired basketball team. But you just saw Miami Heat. They were inspired. And Bam Adebayo didn't have his best night. Tyler Hero looked locked in. We got to figure out on the Atlanta Hawks side who's going to be that guy to step up and make sure this team is focused and they're ready to go. And they have the same inspiration that the Miami Heat made in order for them to get this last spot in the playoffs.
Just want it to be a good game, Chandler. What are you thinking? Do you believe in the jinx? Because it was pretty thorough, dude.
I wish that we had that much power to jinx these playing games, but unfortunately we don't. Listen, the Miami Heat, it's hard to overlook the Miami Heat, what they just did. They're clearly not timid to go on the road and play really well. They're capable of defending, which the Hawks just looked pretty bad offensively. I think they only scored 95 points in their last outing. So, again, this is going to come down to Trae Young. Is he going to step up? Is he going to be that guy that they can count on? And same thing that Lou just said, Bam struggled last night. And they got 20 from Wiggins. They got 15 from Davion Mitchell, who, by the way, fits this Heat culture perfectly. Watching him play last night, just how hard the picking up guys 94 feet, what he does. I feel like he's going to be in a Miami Heat jersey for a long time. But can Tyler Hero have back-to-back games, and can Bam instill his will and his power on kind of a light front line that the Atlanta Hawks have? We'll see. I have to give the edge to Miami. I can't unsee what I saw last night, and I think they're not going to go in there scared. They're going to go in there, and they want to get that 8th seed.
I don't want to get Charlie Browned by Trae Young. I just have to believe, though, that tomorrow he's had a minute, right?
Maybe we should just disagree on the pick so one of us are right so we can throw out the whole jinx thing.
Way ahead of you. I'll be listening to both of you and going the opposite way. So one of us looks smart. But here's the thing. Let's do a build-a-team, right? You have to either build around Tyler Hero or you have to build around Trae Young, Chandler. Who are you taking?
I mean, I'm a big Trae Young guy. I really love him as a point guard. I think he is still going to be best when he is the second or third option offensively. You put 2 studs on him that take just a little bit off his plate and let him focus on using what I think he does best with his passing and his vision and getting everybody set up. That's where I really think you see Trae. Throughout his early years of his career, you can see he kind of forces some tough shots. He wants to go be uber aggressive, which he is more than capable of doing. You can see the numbers this guy puts up. But I think he will be best when he gets paired with another mega star and a guy that can, go and get a bucket at the end of games and take some relief off Trae Young's offensive production. And Tyler Hero's not a bad pick either. He's younger. He's been doing this for a while. He's more of just a straight two-guard scorer, go get you a bucket, as Trae Young is more of a point guard. But I'm a big Trae Young guy, and I do believe that once they add some star power around him, which he's never really had, Trae Young's going to be great.
You taking Trae?
Yeah, I'm taking Trae as well. I mean, it's already proven what he's able to do as a lead on a team. Led the Atlanta Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals. Been in the playoffs a few times as well. By him being the lead, Tyler Hero is still yet to prove that he can be the lead guy. So based on where they are in their careers to present date, I still got to pick Trae.
Let's focus on Chicago for a second. Third straight season that they lose in the play-in. Crazy, too, because it's different faces. I saw some sports personalities in the Chicago area pleading with ownership via social media last night to please, for the love of everything, do something. And it felt like they kind of started to do things, Chandler, but what is your answer here? To say to blow it up, well, it sort of feels like they kind of started the blow-up process already, and here we are.
Yeah, they've already kind of done that, right, with moving the guys that they moved, but they still have Vucevic, who I think is an asset, who I think some of these contending teams will want, and just the way he plays, the way he can pick and pop. I feel like he's one of those guys that's always been on the trading block his entire career, but they have pieces. You know, Josh Giddey, ever since he's got there, this dude's been going straight bananas for the last 2 months, and he's a free agent this summer. He's going to get paid. He's young, and he showed that he is worthy of a big contract. Kobe White's a guy that averaged 20 points a game this year, that's had some really bright spots for them. And then I mentioned the rookie Bucelis. I think he's kind of their one piece that is a building block cornerstone for the future, where he shows flashes of brilliance. He's got to work on his shot, become more of a consistent shooter, but they definitely have some pieces. They are so far away from being a contender, but they can add some pieces to this young core and be fine. I don't think they're going to fully rebuild. I think they re-signed a couple of those guys, especially Josh Giddey. I think he's earned the paycheck. I think he clearly fits the Billy Donovan system and offense, because he's been flourishing pretty much ever since he's been moved there. But they're kind of miles away from being an actual contender.
Yeah, they've had a lot in the last few years. You know, can't get Lonzo Ball healthy, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Vucevic. They've had a lot of great pieces on this team that just hasn't meshed well. So I wouldn't say that they should entirely blow it up. I think they've made the efforts to be a competitive basketball team, but the pieces hadn't fit in the puzzle. And for that, you look around and you see who's worth the money, who's worth the stay, who can we build around to get us from point A to point B on this team. Josh Giddey will probably be one of those guys. Vucevic is another one. Kobe White, like Chandler just mentioned. I don't think you entirely blow it up. You haven't got the results that you wanted, but you've also had some bad breaks as well.
Giddey probably looking for 30 a year. That we're good with that.
If he can go out there and get it and find a team that's willing to give it to him, and Chicago's down to match, I don't see what's the problem with that. You know, especially when you're a restricted free agent. You got to go out there and test the market, see if somebody's willing to give you an offer that the team that you're on is willing to match and say that you're worth that money. If not, he's going to be in a different situation. But if somebody is willing to pay him that money, I don't know if Chicago lets him walk or let him stay. Again, we're talking about whether they're going to blow this team up or whether they're going to keep their pieces. If this is a team serious about competing in the Eastern Conference immediately, I say you sign him back the way he's been playing.
I mean, are those names enough, Chandler? And I don't mean to sound disrespectful, but like we always get so wrapped up in the idea of a superstar and this, that, and the other. Do they need to add a big name to this equation?
Yeah, they do. They got to be good in the draft. They got to be good in free agency. Like I said, these are assets. These are building block pieces for the future that are going to win you some games just on talent and effort and how good they are now. But these are future pieces. They definitely need to add some vet leadership. They need to add some superstar talent pair with these guys to translate into wins now. And as far as Josh Giddey, like this free agency is funny in the NBA. You see that number, and obviously that's a big number per year, but you are worth in the NBA what one team will pay you. One team will probably pay him that. So that is what Josh Giddey will get, and that's what his worth is. And so again, he deserved that. The last 2 months of this season, he has been absolutely balling. I know people look at his jump shot and think it's hard to not be a shooting guard in this league today, but with his size and his passing ability, his high IQ, he is a good fit for a certain offense, and it seems like a Billy Donovan offense is a perfect fit for him. So I'd like to see them match. I'd like to see him get paid because he deserves it, and I feel like everything and from OKC. Everyone just assumed that the OKC won that trade when they got Caruso.
Yep.
And I think they did to an aspect where I think that need, that fit, that defense, that vet leadership Caruso brings OKC was important. But Josh Giddey is a hooper, and he's been balling. He's been showing that.
Just a better fit. Everybody's in a better place. Yeah.
He's better in Chicago, and Caruso's better off in OKC.
They're blooming in their respective homes. Game number 2, jinx number 2, home team didn't show up in this one either. Mavericks Kings, a 120-106 showing for Dallas. Anthony Davis, 27 points, 9 rebounds. Klay, he exercised the demons, as he said afterwards. 23 points. He was 5 of 7 from 3. DeMar DeRozan finished with 33. Sabonis with 11, 13, and 5. But Dallas looked like they had just blocked out all of the drama, Lou, all of it. So if they can go on, if they can grab this 8 seed, beat Memphis, and move on here, can they make a little noise based on what you saw last night?
They can make some noise and they can be disruptive, but I don't think that quiets all of the negativity down, right? They have to almost get back to the Western Conference Finals for this fan base to feel like they got their worth out of that trade. They're 1 year removed from the NBA Finals. So just being in the play-in, getting to an 8 seed and probably getting bounced in the first round, that's not going to be sustainable to this fan base based on what they feel. They've already shown you how passionate and how they feel about this trade that just went down and how they feel about it, their real emotions. And so winning does cure all, but they got to win a lot to cure this. So just getting in the play-in, winning the play-in game, possibly getting that 8 seed, I don't think that's enough to keep it quiet for long, but I do think this fan base gets behind them if they work their way into the playoffs.
Man, Chandler, the game last night was interesting to watch for a variety of reasons, but the Dallas angle, knowing what they all have to hear over and over every day, what did you think?
Yeah, they looked great last night. And again, I think this is step one of the vision that Nico is talking about, where when they put it all together like this, they can play and then they can win games. And like Lou just said, you don't trade Luka for a play-in, an 8 seed possibility. And I think obviously a lot had to do with injuries this year, and with Kyrie Irving not on this team right now is a huge difference. So I think we'll get a bigger picture next year when they are fully healthy. But this is how good they're capable of being even without Kyrie, when they get all their bigs back, when PJ Washington's back last night and he's doing what he does. Klay Thompson showed flashes of excellence with him getting hot there, knocking down 3 or 4 threes in a quarter. And Anthony Davis, I was happy to see Anthony Davis. Even early on, he was struggling. He missed like 5 shots in a row. He wasn't getting the whistle, and he stayed aggressive, and he continued to put his foot on the gas. And 23 shot, 9 of 23, that is fine for him. I would like to see him take 30 shots against Memphis if that's what it takes for them to win. With no Kyrie Irving, they got to put the ball in his hands, and they did that last night without a real true point guard, without a pure point guard. Najee Marshall's playing point guard for this team right now. Then the kid Brandon Williams comes in and hit some shots to them last night.
Yeah,
but they don't really have a true point guard even to set these guys up right now. So if you notice, they're taking turns bringing the ball down the floor. They're alternating who does it. But this is the version of Anthony Davis. I don't care if he misses 10 shots in a row. He's got to continue to be aggressive, especially with no Kyrie Irving. And
I know Nico Harrison afterwards was like, that's sort of, there was a vision there. That's kind of what we saw. And the Kyrie thing is always going to be a bummer in this one. They do play the Grizzlies in Memphis. They only beat them once this year. Now, if we see this version of the Dallas Mavericks that we saw last night, and it was sort of vintage Klay as well, who do they get the edge?
He gives them another option. Like, we know what Klay Thompson is capable of. We know that he can put a team on his back and get hot at any given moment and go out there and win a basketball game by himself. We just hadn't seen him do it in such a long time that you're kind of weary about hedging your bets on that.
Fair.
On that, right? So for me, this team runs and goes through Anthony Davis. He's going to be the catalyst of getting there. And like we just talked about, yeah, they won a good game last night, but that was a 9-10 matchup. Now you got the Memphis Grizzlies to possibly get into this last spot. What version of the Dallas Mavericks are we going to get then? And then once we get there, what are they going to look like against OKC? There's so many different layers to this team before they're out of the woods, before we say, okay, all is well, all is cured with the Dallas Mavericks. But this was a great start last night. Can't blame them for that.
It's going to be seasons before we can even start to see
For
what
sure.
we'll be fine. Seasons.
You know what's interesting to me is I love Max Christie, right? And people keep saying, let's not forget about Max Christie as a throw-in that trade. Played 12 minutes last night. So if we're talking about a big asset that they got for the future and he's playing 12 minutes and he's part of the reason why you gave up Luka, that just makes the trade to me even look weirder when you look back on it. That obviously Anthony Davis was the main priority, but Max Christie to me should be getting more minutes. He should be kind of in that full rotation, and he wasn't last night, which was kind of interesting to me. But I understand they're deep. Jaden Hardy doesn't play a lot. Spencer Dinwiddie, who's a vet guard who can go get you buckets, he played 2 minutes last night. So this team does have some assets and depth on the bench too, in case there is more injuries or foul trouble, or with Kyrie Irving out till January.
By the way, did either of you guys also think during this course of this game that Dallas must just be relieved to not play at home right now? Like, it probably feels better to be on the road if you're the Mavericks. And I'm not trying to be snarky.
No, I didn't think of that, but you make a great point. It might be a relief for them to be on the road where you can have a us versus everybody mentality and go in there and rally around each other and go win a basketball game and try to go out there and win another one. So this might be a blessing in disguise for them to start this journey on the road opposed to being at home where the fan base is on edge. Every possession, every single thing that's going on, you just feel that bad vibe in the air, like they're waiting for something bad to happen. So this is probably one of the best things that can happen for them to go on to this into this route and be on the road to start.
I mean, the Grizzlies are 6.5-point favorites. That seems like a lot, but we shall see. We want to talk Kings, though, as well. Second straight year that they lose in the play-in. Immediately, GM Monty McNair and the team part ways. That is quick, by the way. Are you even in your car yet at that point? Sabonis is under contract through 27-28. We love Sabonis.
Yep.
But now we have to start asking some harder questions, Lou. Is that on a contending team, is he truly your one or two?
I genuinely feel like he is. And this team is showing you, like, they have talent. They have a lot of different guys. I think Malik Monk being out of the lineup hurt them big time as well. He's always been their X factor. He's been the guy to gave them that punch that they needed. But this is an organization that needs some consistency. And if you don't have it in the front office, if you don't have it on your bench, this team is only going to be good as the car that they're in, right? And so you can have all the talent in the world, but if you have dysfunction, if you don't have that consistency and camaraderie that's needed to push forward, it's only going to get you so far. And Sacramento has been a great example of that with all of the all-star caliber guys that they have. It's just always been a rocky road when it's come to the front office, management, and their coaching situation. It's always turnover in Sacramento. So I do think that Sabonis is a legitimate 1 or 2 option, but they just got to give them something to contend with on a consistent basis.
I don't know what that looks like, Chandler. Like, we say kickstart it, but they added DeRozan, they added Levine. Like, what do they need to do?
Well, on Sabonis' front, the dude's he's led the NBA in rebounding 3 straight years. He averages 14 rebounds. He's efficient. He's a smart player. Is he a 1A type of guy? 2 and 3 and 4 have to be really good, but he is a great guy who's tough, who can do all the little things. You can play through him in the post. You want him on your team. You just have to surround him with the right pieces. And DeMar DeRozan was great ever since the trade, ever since he signed there. Zach LaVine was great. They're both putting up 22, 23 points a game, which is what they've done their whole career. It's more about fit. It's more about style of play. Like Lou said, there's got to be some sort of consistency. You can't just fire the head coach and then fire the GM immediately after and expect everything just to be normal and carry on and go to it's just, there has to be some sort of identity and culture. And it just feels like Sacramento hasn't had that for quite some time. And then obviously the obvious thing is you move De'Aaron Fox, and now they don't have a real point guard on their roster. They got Keanu Ellis playing point guard. They have Carter bringing the ball up sometimes. Malik Monk was doing it before he went down. So they never really had that true PG setup guy ever since the trade, which also hurt them. But they have some decisions to make. And again, I think they have enough. I love guys like Murray. I think he's a great pick and pop guy. He can shoot the ball. He can stretch the floor. I love Trey Lyles. They have a lot of pieces on their team. It's just they haven't really meshed and figured out a way to translate that to wins. And I don't know if Sabonis is going to be there long enough for us to find out.
And I'm wondering, not just Sabonis, but I'm wondering, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, both those guys, 26, 27 is sort of their year of either free agency or player options. Is one more important to keep over the other in your mind?
That's a great question. I like both of those guys, and I think they're talented enough that they can still push this team forward. I think they still got a lot of great basketball left in them, especially DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. Like, those are 2 very, very high-level, high-caliber guys that you can build a team around at any given moment. they got a lot of questions to answer when it comes to the Sacramento Kings and who's top priority. Do we start over? Do we rebuild this? Do we move around some picks? Do we go young? Like, there is a lot of different things, and we just said it. They need consistency more than anything. So when they start making decisions, I'm glad that they, if the GM wasn't a good fit, I'm glad that they went on and did this. Let's start now. Let's start our off season now and try to find a common ground where we can build towards the future. So is one guy more important than the other? I think they got way bigger issues than that. And it started with the front office, and it goes from there.
You think Christie keeps the job?
That'll be interesting to see. He had him motivated for a while, and they were rolling, and then they hit the injury bug, and it was off the rails again. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Doug.
Dear Lord. All right, we got to take a quick break. We're going to do future of the playoff picks. I'm a little nervous to attempt any of that when we come back. The jinx. Saturday begins an entire day of just sitting on the couch watching basketball because we know 6 of the 8 matchups. So we're going to start, Chandler, with you and the Timberwolves and the Lakers. The 6-3, the over-under is where we will start on how many games the series will go. 5.5 is the mark.
I gotta go over. I think this is going to be one of the more competitive series. You have star power. You have teams that can defend. You have teams that can score. Both well-coached teams. I can see this game possibly going to the distance in a 7-game series. And I think it's going to be the most fun. I think it's every home team. I think it's going to be slightly favored in each game, which shows you just pretty much how even this is. And I said this last week. I think Julius Randle, he's got to be the X factor. He's got to step up. He's got to have as good of a series that LeBron James has for the Timberwolves. Go and sneak this one out.
Do you have a prediction on how many games?
I got Lakers in 7. I think it goes all the way. I don't think Ant-Man is going down lightly. I do think the Lakers are a better team, but I believe in Ant-Man and his abilities to push this thing as far as he can, and with the talent that he has with that team. Like, you know, they got a lot of different guys, and they're starting to turn that corner. But I love the way that the Los Angeles Lakers are playing right now, so I got the Lakers with the edge in 7.
I kind of like that the numbers sort of reflect that. Maybe we're wishful thinking. We want 7. Give us 7 of all of this stuff. Chandler, these are some of the fun player props. Scoring the largest number of points in the series. Show you got what you got. What do you got for you?
Wow, that's a. I mean, Luka, obviously he's the favorite. He's going to take the most shots. I think it's got to be Anthony Edwards, because I think for them to win this series, he's going to have to be great. He's going to have multiple 40-point games. So at those odds, I would take Anthony Edwards plus 165, because everything's going to go through him. There's no such thing as a bad shot. I'd like to see him take 25 shots a game and make them work on the offensive end. If Luka's guarding him, he's going to go at him. If Austin Reeves is guarding him, he's going to go at him. So I think he's going to be uber aggressive. Give me Anthony Edwards scoring the most.
I need Conrad to be writing all this down. This would be fun to go back and see how close.
Yeah, we got to actually keep.
Yeah, this is
on film, you know.
Yeah, but are you going to go watch it? What do you think? By the way, I wish there was a world in which Gobert plus 20,000 was the thing. That would be amazing.
I'm with Chandler on this one. I had Ant-Man pegged as the guy that's going to score the most points in this series. In order for them to even get to a game 6 or 7, he has to be really aggressive. He has to be the leader of the Minnesota Timberwolves. On the Lakers standpoint, I don't see it being Luka or LeBron, because I feel like the T-Wolves are going to have to take something away. They're going to have to take one of these guys away and limit their opportunities.
So, could it be Austin Reeves on the Lakers side?
I got a prop bet for Austin Reeves as well, but I think this one in particular, who's gonna have the most total points, I think it's gonna be Ant-Man, in order for them to even get to a point where this thing is competitive.
All right, then I'll give you the next one. Most threes in this series.
And that's Austin Reeves.
Here we go. All right.
Again, so
not a bad number either.
Yeah, in playoff basketball, when it becomes a half court, teams that are successful, they try to take away the stars and the star power. Like, I think they're gonna run 2 guys at Luka at half court when he touches the ball. They're gonna double LeBron if he's in the post. They're gonna make somebody else beat them, opposed to the 2 guys that you would expect to go out there and win you a basketball game. I think Austin Reeves is gonna be the guy that's gonna benefit from that. Obviously, he's a great shooter. He's a great knockdown guy, can put the ball on the floor, attack the rim, put pressure on the rim. But when you start talking about doubling, that opens up the three-point line, and I think Austin Reeves is going to be the guy that's going to be the beneficiary from that.
750 is the fun time. I like that.
Plus 750 is great, and you make a good point there, Lou. I think Anthony Edwards is going to try and take on the matchup of Luka, and then McDaniels maybe guards LeBron, or they put McDaniels on Luka and put a Julius Randle or something on LeBron. But that leaves Austin Reeves kind of on an island to be guarded, by a DiVincenzo, by a Mike Conley, and I think he also is poised for a huge series. And with those odds plus 750, I love that. I think he makes 3 to 4 to 5 threes a game, and give me Austin Reeves for most threes.
All right, let's move on to the Clippers in Denver. I think this one, again, billed as being a really fun series. Again, 5.5 is the line for over/under on total games. Lou, I'll start with you on this one. Are you going the distance in this as well?
A smart man would, but
But you're not.
Well, I got a little Clipper bias.
That's fair.
I like
that
I like
for you.
Clippers in 6. I think this is going to be a highly competitive series.
It's the over. You still got the over.
Yeah, this is going to. I still take the over. This is going to be one of those that I feel like it's going to be one of the more entertaining series. These two teams have a history in the playoffs and going back and forth and trying to one-up each other. This will be nothing short of what we expected. It's going to be a lot of fireworks in this one, but I like the Clippers in 6.
All right, I got Clippers in 6. Chandler, real quick, what do you have?
This one's so tough for me, man. Like, I love the Nuggets. I love Jokic. I love what they're doing, but the Clippers balling, man. They're so good. Kawhi Leonard's back. They're deep. Zubats, I think, is going to have a big series against Jokic. I don't know who I got yet, but I'm going to take the over for sure. I think this is another highly.
Well, what do you mean? What are you waiting on? More
that's
research?
That's not how this works.
What is this?
Pick your team,
know?
man.
What do you need to happen between now and then?
What's worse? We're 0-6 already. What worse could happen, Chandler?
Give me the Nuggets in 6.
Okay, in 6. All right, so that would be a plus 5-7. You know what? I still think that's a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Throw a bunch of those together. You got yourselves a little party. We also have a lot of game-winning shot makers in this particular series, which is, I think, what we all want to see. Do we get multiple game winners in this thing? Lou.
Yeah, if you're gonna need 6 games, and we're saying that this thing is gonna be as competitive as we think it's gonna be, it's gonna be what?
2 plus?
2 plus.
Oh my
18,
God!
000?
Give me that. If you're in a free state, hit me up in my DMs. I'd like to put some money down.
I would even take one.
Wow.
I would even take one game winner at this. But this is, again, this is going to be a highly competitive series. Both of these teams are going to put it out on the line. I feel like we'll get multiple game winners. So I like 2.
Oh, I'm taking that.
Give me 2.
Nice,
yeah,
Chandler.
give me 2. I like it.
Just simple odds. How could you not? How could you pass
right.
plus 18,000? So I like that. And again, we both agree that this is going to be a long 6-7 game series, so it's going to be tight. I wouldn't take 0. I'll tell you that. I think it's going to come down. Like, I'm either taking 1 or 2, and I think I'd take 2 with those odds.
I think I would put $1 or 2 on both of those options, because either way, it's a pretty good one. You can also you could take it a step further and have some fun, and you can predict who said game winners would be. These are what those numbers look like. Again, how are you not just going to try?
Ooh.
This is like winning.
I like James Harden plus 6,000. You kidding me? He's going to have the ball in his hand. He's going to initiate the offense. I love him with a step back right. Plus 6,000 game winner in one of these games.
I put $1 on Murray, to be honest.
Hey.
Uh-oh.
Throw that ball to big number 2.
Giant
He's
hand.
not going for it. Big giant hand. Just like this, Chandler. Give me the ball for the game. I like Kawhi Leonard at plus 4,000.
These are awesome. This is
I
like
also
fun.
like Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is
Put $1 on
because
Murray.
James Harden has turned more into a facilitator on this team. Nikola Jokic is also more of a facilitator on his team. Like Kawhi Leonard
Murray.
or Jamal Murray on their respective teams, probably going to be the guys that take game-winning shots for these teams.
I just had a vision. I feel like
Talk
it's
to me.
Murray. I think I can see it. It just popped into my head. It was very clear. Murray's going to have a game winner
down
in the
for that.
series. Yeah, visions
down for
and
that.
vibes is happening. All right, most assists in this thing. We got everything. The player props in this one are wild. There they are. Jokic.
It's going to be Jokic,
Yeah,
right? I'm going
How
with
is Jokic? How is Jokic not the?
I don't know.
I don't know, Chandler, but I like it.
That's. I mean, don't look a gift horse, I suppose.
Well, listen, I don't know. I was going to try to reason with it. I don't know. I would think that Jokic would have the minus 110, but he's at plus 110.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the guy that's going to have the most assists in this series based on him averaging a triple-double, based on him initiating the offense, having the ball. The offense is ran through him. Like James has the ball a lot of the times for the Clippers, but they also run a lot of isolations and things of that nature. Denver is more of a team that plays on a string, that goes to their first, their second, and their third options in their offense. So like Jokic in this one. I don't know.
Me too. It's a plus. What do we,
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun props.
Jokic. I love Jokic in this. He's going to have his way on the offensive end as he usually does. I think he's going to average a 30-point triple-double as well. I think he's going to average 12, 13 in this series.
Damn, the whole
He's going
series?
to go bananas this series.
It can't go a lot of games and he going to do that, Chandler.
Well, I mean, that's the problem. That'll be if it does, we have a bigger issue. We got to take a quick break. On the other side, he'll have some opinions on all of this. He's back, Kenny Beecham, and his sweet, sweet background when we come back.
Run it up, run it back.
He is back, host of Small Ball Podcast, co-founder of Enjoy Basketball. Kenny Beecham's here. Just perfect timing given the performance that your hometown team put on last night. What the hell was that, Kenny? Okay, let's talk about it. It was a weird night. I heard the boos from the hometown crowd. Can't even really blame them. Perfect summer in Chicago basketball looks like what?
Perfect summer is at 1.7% chance of that first overall pick hits, and we get Cooper Flag on the team. That's the only thing that can really save us.
That's fair.
That's a perfect summer.
That is all right. What's a slightly less than perfect summer look like in Chicago?
I don't know. I mean, last night was a bit weird. We played 83 games this year, and just so happened the game that mattered the most, we put up the least amount of points we've had all year long. We had scored 115 points in 15 straight games, and we ended with 90 last night. Oof. So I think the fans in the arena share the sentiment of fans across the globe when it comes to Bulls fandom. Being in the play-in 3 years in a row, losing to the Miami Heat 3 years in a row in the play-in, we're tired. We're tired. So what does the perfect offseason looks like? I have no idea, man, because I don't think there's saving this team. A lot of us wanted the team to take a step back, which we did. We traded Zach LaVine. We traded DeMar DeRozan before the season started. And even then, we still look at the roster, squinting our eyes like there's not a lot going on here. So I think we still got like 2 to 3 more years before we can really be excited about Bulls basketball again.
Let me let you in on something, Kenny. Mm-hmm. And when you're in a position like that, you have a conversation in the locker room. Do we really want to get on this flight and prolong our destiny that we already know what it is? Let's dress this thing up real nice and let's bow out gracefully and let's get into this summer and let's retool and get ready for the next one.
See, that's the insight that we don't have as fans, right? That's why we got to go to Lou
because we can't handle it felt like that. Kenny, we can't handle that as fans. We hear that and we're like, how dare you?
It's like the game right before All-Star Weekend. It's like you don't care about that game. You're just trying to get
you guys, too much honesty. This is not. We can't handle this. We don't want to hear this. Let me ask you this, because you got the Giddy extension looming. Decisions to be made there at 30 a year potentially. Is anybody on this team in your mind untouchable moving forward?
No, I think we'd be crazy to think about untouchables with this roster, man. I mean, we got players that we like, right? I enjoyed the last 23 games of Josh Giddey. I enjoyed what Kobe White turned into player of the month for March. But there's nobody on the team that I'm like, if they're not here next season, I'm going to be complaining about. It's not like we have Luka Doncic. We're not going to be rioted in the streets if we traded everybody. I did like the rookie, Modest Buzelis, right? So maybe he's the one dude, but he also was the 11th overall pick. It's not like he was Cooper Flag. So I think everything and anything should be on the table this offseason.
Kenny, we've been going back and forth about Nico Harrison and his private presser. I want to get your opinion on that. If you were a diehard Mavericks fan, hypothetically speaking, how would you feel about that, how they handled it, doing it behind closed doors? What's your opinion on that? What's your take on it?
I feel like every time something new comes out about that team, it's a slap in the face to the fans. From the initial trade to the first press conference where it was Nico and Jason Kidd, and Nico comes in and he's all smiling as if they didn't trade away one of the best players in franchise history, to this one behind closed doors, there has not been this level of realization from the franchise, because even behind those closed doors, what Nico Harrison said as like defense wins championships, which I guess is true. In order to build that defensive-oriented team you're thinking about, you traded away Luka Doncic, and it still blows my mind that they could sit at the table and look you dead in your eye and say that we thought we did the right thing, and we still think we've done the right thing. When we're in the play-in and the Lakers are hosting a first-round matchup series, and people are predicting that they not only can win this series, but the series after that and the series after that, because Luka Doncic is that good. So I would be pissed. I mean, one of my best friends was a Mavericks fan, and then he had to take like a week to himself to figure out if he was going to support that team, and he no longer does. He does a wrestling podcast now. So
What?
He's out. He's just out.
Wait,
He lost
as a
all
result of the
fandom.
Luka thing, this was the decision.
He had to step away from the game.
Yeah, he switched sports, man. It's like Jordan going to play baseball, man. He was done with it.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. You got Phoenix missing the playoffs. Budenholzer gets fired. New Orleans is obviously looking like they're going to go into a rebuild. Philly had one of their worst years in recent history, considering all things. Who doesn't see the light at the end of the tunnel?
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
man.
tough. I mean, I think the Suns probably don't see it because, I mean, we got the looming Kevin Durant trade, right? Everybody realizes that's going to happen. Shams Charania reported that they're going to start working with Rich Kleiman to try to make it happen. I mean, they don't have any of their own first-round picks, right? They don't have a coach. They fired back-to-back years. They fired championship coaches. I want to remind people that. So it's definitely them. Like, if you Philly, you're like, okay, we're going to have a top 6 pick this season. We already got Tyrese Maxey. Jerry McCain looked pretty good before his injury, and the big fella JoJo should be back. The Pelicans can look at it. The Pelicans are pretty high on that list too. I can't lie. They don't have a lot going on either. But it's got to be the Suns, man, because the only staple is Devin Booker. And you look at that roster and you think about the lack of future assets. I think you have to have the conversation on whether or not you keep Booker around. And I've always been a one-team guy. I love when we have these one-team superstars, but you got to start thinking about the future. And the Kevin Durant trade is going to happen, and maybe a Devin Booker trade in the next year or so.
Kenny, the playoffs, they finally start this Saturday. A lot of great series. Which one are you most likely looking forward to?
It's got to be Lakers Wolves, right? Like this series could potentially give us everything. We got Anthony Edwards, who blossomed again this season, becoming one of the best three-point shooters in ball, and remind you he can still dunk on your head. You still do have Luka Doncic going against Rudy Gobert in drop coverage. Will they continue to play drop, or will they switch it at the point? You got the 40-year-old superstar LeBron James, who could kind of play off the ball for the entire series if need be. This should be a classic one, honestly. I'm tuned into every fan base, and Lakers fans feel like it's in 5, and Timberwolves fans feel like they're winning in 5. So both fan bases feel really confident about it. This might be a 7-game series. I think it's going to come down to great coaching, right? JJ Redick's first playoff series versus Chris Finch and company. I'm really excited about all of these things because Austin Reeves is like one of the best third options in all of basketball, and he's going to be guarded by, in every lineup, basically the third best perimeter defender, which might be Mike Conley. And I've seen the Lakers since the trade basically bully small guards every single game. So they might just have Austin Reeves take over this series. And that's crazy because LeBron and Luka are on the court. But Austin Reeves might have a couple 30-point games because he's just going to have favorable matchup after favorable matchup. So it's definitely that 3-6 matchup, Lakers versus Warriors. Or I'm sorry, Lakers versus Wolves.
Who's winning it?
I got Lakers in 6, personally. I think the offensive firepower would just be a little bit too much for the Minnesota Timberwolves, just because once you get that ball out of Anthony Edwards' hands, it really becomes I forgot we're on TV here. It becomes tough for the Wolves to really get some offense going. And we watched that little stretch where the Lakers are one of the best defenses, and I truly do believe that JJ Redick's going to have a really good scheme because Anthony Edwards can be wishy-washy once he sees 2 bodies on the pick and roll. Sometimes he looks like Luka, sometimes he looks like a rookie Anthony Edwards. So get that ball out of his hands. Julius Randle has his playoff demons. So I'm going Lakers in 6.
I like that.
7,
Julius Randle,
I like
Julius
6.
Randle's got to be great. Julius Randle's got to be great in this series. I said that. So if you had to pick one series, Kenny, to go 7 games, is it this one or is it another one?
It's another one. Okay, to go 7, I think the highest likelihood is Clippers versus Nuggets.
There we go.
Here we go.
There we go.
We talking about a 7-game series.
Now we on the
Clippers
same
have been- and listen, Lou. I'm picking Clippers in this series, man, because they have been one of the best teams in basketball for like the last 30 games. James is playing well. Kawhi Leonard is playing well. Zubac might make an All-NBA team. They have the perfect combination of shot creation and perimeter defense to pretty much deal with anybody. And you would think I was playing in this series the amount of minutes I've watched of those 4 games they played in the regular season, like I was watching films if I had to guard Jokic. But Tyronn Lue and them have basically let Jokic be on an island with Zubac because they don't want the cutters to get their open looks or see Michael Porter Jr. get an open three. And it's kind of worked out. Like, you're never going to stop Jokic, but you're preventing him from getting those easy passes to assists. It's like, let Jokic beat us, and maybe he drops 50, but that 50 won't be enough. So I'm going Clippers in 7 on that series.
I like the 7.
Wow.
I like it. Do you have any upsets in mind? Like, who are you looking at for that?
I don't even know if I could call it an upset because the Rockets are the higher seed here.
Yep.
But I think the betting odds have the Warriors as the favorite. And I can't get there completely. Like, if the Warriors won, I wouldn't be too surprised. They have Steph Curry, they have Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. That big three can beat almost anybody. But the holes that the Warriors have as a team, I just feel like the Rockets do an amazing job of taking advantage of those things. The Warriors, no matter what era it was, whether it's early Steph Curry with KD, or post KD, they always turn the ball over. It's part of their movement offense. And the Rockets take advantage of that. They get into the open break. They're a small team. The Rockets have been running Şengün and Steven Adams as a lineup, and it's one of the best two-man lineups in all of basketball. They don't have the experience that the Warriors do, but I'm still leaning a little bit towards Houston, and maybe that's a bit crazy, but I'm running Houston in that one.
That's not crazy.
Okay, I don't think it's crazy.
Yeah, they're 2 seed for a reason. I think the popular thing we should always think is bet Steph Curry, but again, if a team is a 2 seed, they're there for a reason. You got to respect it.
Yeah.
Kenny, let me ask you this. Both Anthony Edwards and Cade Cunningham have the opportunity to kind of make these superstar statements in these series. I'm looking at Cade Cunningham, MSG, game 1 and 2. Which guy do you think has the bigger impact? An Edwards against a Lakers team, or a fresh, new, young Pistons team going to MSG, who's also a kind of the sexy pick for an upset?
Yeah, maybe it is Cade Cunningham. He absolutely destroyed the Knicks in their regular season matchups. I mean, he's averaging like 30, 10, and 8. He was disgusting. And a lot of that is because Karl-Anthony Towns and the Knicks are playing so much drop coverage. Cade Cunningham hasn't been a great pull-up shooter in his career, but it's something about Madison Square Garden or something about those Knicks where he can go from a 31% pull-up shooter to a 52% pull-up shooter. Like, we don't expect that to happen for a full series. But if the Pistons have any chance to win a series, it has to be Cade Cunningham averaging 30 and somebody like Malik Beasley or somebody like Tobias Harris just picking up some slack offensively, but it has to be Cade. I think there's worlds where the Timberwolves can pull out a game if Anthony Edwards has a slow night. I don't think the Pistons can win any games if Cade Cunningham is not the superstar version of himself.
Oh, man, Kenny, we made it. Postseason's finally here. This
here,
is where it gets real. Appreciate the time. Hopefully we will talk soon. Enjoy the weekend. A lot of TV.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, team.
We'll be right back.
Run it up, run it back.
Got about a minute left. Chandler, what are you most excited to watch this weekend?
I mean, the Timberwolves-Lakers series is going to be awesome. I think that's going to be the most star-studded packed one. But I'm interested to see the Pistons and the Knicks. I want to see how that young, tough team responds in Madison Square Garden in the biggest mecca. I can't wait to see how that goes. I know it's a sexy pick to take them, but the Knicks on paper are still a much better team.
I'm in basketball heaven this weekend.
Yep.
I like Knicks, Pistons, Clippers, Nuggets. I'm going to be especially tuned in to the Pacers, Bucks, and the Lakers, Timberwolves as well.
Please. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I just want them to be good. I just want to be good. I don't know. Why'd you giggle when you said that?
That's why you giggle.
Enjoy the basketball weekend from the sports gods. Hopefully it's a good one. We'll see you guys on Monday. Best of tomorrow.
Run it back, run it up, run it back, yeah.